them concentrated in Sebastian, Florida. And, they were on their way to Spain, but they were loaded down. And one of the things that I learned from my treasure diving buddies is that they have the manifest, but the odds are that you could add like 2/3 of the volume and value for contraband. So I was so excited. I grabbed every book I could read and made some friends at the Treasure Salvers picnic. I'm going to say, gosh, I think we're up to this year's 13, probably around the third year. I've been going to those things when I lived there in Orlando. But it's 6 ships wrecked right in that area. And Kip Wagner found some stuff on the beach in the early 60s. Mel Fisher was actually at a dive shop in California. He came over and they started the Reel 8 company. And initially he got a surfboard and put plexiglass in it so he could look down and was paddling around. So good story, great place. You just got to wait till the conditions are right.
Right. So I bet you have a favorite story, maybe a beach story or something that you would like to share. Maybe, I'm sure Amanda's got probably better questions than that, but is there a special story you'd like to share with us from maybe your Florida days?
Well, I think it was year 3 of me going down there. I found this round thing, and I didn't know what it was, but I knew it came out looking gold, right? And I was so excited. I went up to the McClarty Museum. So if anyone ever does find something questionable, I recommend that you go to the McClarty Museum and they'll take pictures of it. So I went to the museum. They told me to take it to the Fisher, the Mel Fisher place there on Highway 1. And I took it in there and they couldn't determine what it was. But it's a piece of money chain. And it has also silver and copper in it. So one of the guys that originally dove on the Etosha, Bill Moore, I took it to the Treasure Salvers picnic that year, and Bill had said that it was probably some poor person on one of them ships' life savings, because it wasn't 22 or 23 karat. It kind of pulled at 10 karat. Okay. So, but he confirmed that. And the other find I found in a completely different location. And I thought it was an aquamarine, which it could have been an aquamarine, but I took that ring that I found on another stormy day and took that and showed that to Bill Moore and Bonnie Schubert, who was the one that found the prayer pelican without the one wing about 9 years ago with her mother. And by the way, her mother, Jo, had dove into her 90s. Like she was like 92 was her last, and she had been diving since 1950. So I showed Bonnie, and she was like, oh my God, that's an emerald ring. And nobody's ever found one in silver. So I had validation from all the experts. So.
Oh, fantastic. So it came off of one of those ships, huh?
Yeah, and I got a couple of reals as well. So those are my treasure finds.
Can you tell a little bit more for our listeners kind of what a money chain is? Some of them aren't familiar with a lot of the stuff that came off these ships. Could you tell them a little bit more about that? The history?
Sure. Yeah. Well, originally, the King of Spain charged 50%. He got 50% of any minted coins. Okay. Then he dropped it later on to 20% of any minted coins. You were taxed when you went back to Spain. Okay. But jewelry was not taxed. So what they had done, and there's pictures of the Etosha you can Google, and the 1715 fleet and all that. So they were smart enough to start paying their workers, or the crew, or it was like a type of money because it wasn't taxed by Spain. So they would make these chains, and then when they went to pay people, they would just pull this piece of chain off, or two or three, or whatever their wage was, and they would pay them in jewelry, and that's why they're called money chains. They were specifically made to pay out without being taxed by the King of Spain.
Clever.
Fascinating history, isn't it? It's so fascinating. Amanda, you got a few questions for? I know you usually have a list here.
I do. And thankfully, everyone in chat, I think I got the system working and there's no more echo. So we got the thumbs up on that. So I just gave the hello to everyone, but I did notice when I was going back through, ORH, Mr. Bill had a question. He said to ask about the forts, camps, and batteries of Ohio. You had sent a book a long time ago to him, and he said it was pretty fascinating.
Yes. My buddy Harry Rainey is an insane researcher. He has other Facebook pages as well that keeps him busy. The regiments, he lists books of all the states. So if you Facebook Harry Rainey or regiments, he helps out other detectorists for Rev War, Civil War, whatever you're looking for. There are books to read. Some of them are like 700-900 pages, but hey, it's winter up there,
Yeah.
And originally, he's got all the manuscripts to like Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Alabama, Louisiana, but I helped him with 3 books. So I did all of the pagination and found the high-res maps and, organized the books. So there was actually Virginia, Ohio, and North Carolina, South Carolina books that we were printing for a while. But I think he's going to go more now towards CDs or work out some PDF type thing. Actually, it's a lot of work to take, maps that are like, high resolution DNG files and take them down from like 146 by 96 on my little puny computer and processes that into 300 DPI for the books. So for right now, he is looking at selling all the manuscripts and maybe printing some up. I got to call him. So, I think I have like a few Ohio still left. I might have like 6 or 7 Virginias left, but I'm not doing the sales and the artwork anymore for that. So he is looking at selling that business.
Oh, is he now? I have a lot of time on my hands in the winter.
Okay, well, we'll talk later about that.
That'd be cool. Plus, I wonder how many you could turn into, how many could be turned into like podcasts, like episodes. Could be interesting. All right. Yes, we will chat off air about that. But that's really cool. I mean, obviously I can't really talk about maps we could talk about maps, but you can't see the maps, so that makes it difficult. But all right, I think that was the only question I had seen in chat as of yet. But if you're in chat and you have questions, definitely put them in there. And if you're not in chat and you're listening, jump on over to chat and drop some questions in there, and we can get them to V. So I know a lot of people have like wish lists or bucket lists or a white whale. Is there an item that you have that's a white whale that you really have been looking for and just can't seem to find?
Well, I got my white whale like 2 years ago,
Ooh.
and
What was
a Confederate States buckle that nobody's ever seen before. I mean, it's a clip corner buckle, but someone had engraved CS on it. So, like, I never thought I would find that, right? Like, I couldn't hardly believe it was me. I mean, even to this day, I go, what? But I would have to say that on my bucket list, and I don't know if Captain Bill Black's listening, but my bucket list is to dive on the 1715 fleet and pull up a Real out of the water, because you can't metal detect in the water down there. There's very specific rules. So I would have to say my white whale would be, it would be a miracle, from my mouth to God's ears, find a gold escudo. And even though it would be turned over, I wouldn't care, right? Because I'm at the stage now where if I get a picture of something,
Yep.
I'm good, I would say a gold escudo off the 1715 fleet would be my only one left.
Well, wow.
Yep.
That's a pretty amazing one to have on the list, at the top of the list. So, and you're in the right spot though, headed down to find it and whatnot.
Well, I can tell for the listeners, if you ever want to read one of the most fascinating books, it is by Mendel Peterson, who was basically one of the first archaeologists to pay attention to that area. And the book is called The Funnel of Gold. And there are fantastic stories in there about the silver shoals in the Bahamas, what people found. There's a story in there about a guy who a hurricane came and he had a houseboat and he lost like one of those pots that he was putting all his money into because the boat blew down the lagoon or whatever. And there's a story about that. I'm not going to be a spoiler, but The Funnel of Gold is one of the best books I've ever read about the treasure in Florida and the general area.
Funnel of Gold. Noted. I'll add that to the list. Your brother Jonathan is listening right now, and he's in chat. He says to say hello.
Hey, Jonathan Buchanan. I'm going to come see you if it's on my way home from Texas.
He's coming to see me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He and I got a chance to check, and it was it
Louisiana?
Mississippi?
Oh.
Iuka and Corinth, Mississippi.
Mississippi. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. And I'm really looking forward to her coming and to my hunt coming up very, very soon. And just a reminder, if any of you, it'll be the following weekend after Dig Stock. If you need some more digging, come to Texas and
celebrate St. Patrick's Day with Gypsy.
Yeah, come celebrate. I've been working on all the prizes, and we've got some epic prizes. I'm really excited. So you can meet V there, so don't want to miss it. He's coming all the way to see me and hunt with all my friends, and I'm really excited. It's going to be a blast. Right,
and if anybody wants to ride, I'm leaving 3 days early. So I got room for one passenger if somebody wants to take that adventure with me. My cat can't drive, so.
Wish they could, though,
That's
right?
a great offer.
Puppy dog staying home.
Offer. You better take advantage. That's a great offer. Well, V, so you found an amazing find recently, too. Was it at the end of last year or the beginning of this year? I can't even remember. I think we have a photo of that, don't we?
Oh, yeah. It was the day before New Year's.
Okay. I remember you texting